Hi there, Zam here for Nerd. These are my thoughts and spoilers of the Book of Boba Fett episode 3. Now, I'm not going to go through a play-by-play of every little thing that's happened in this episode. Just some of the things that stuck out in my mind and some of the things I really liked about this episode. First of all, Danny Trejo. Oh my goodness, he is in the Star Wars universe. You can tell the Robert Rodriguez effect is definitely playing its part because these two guys, Robert and Danny, have worked together in countless films, and it's really good to see Danny in this. Robert Rodriguez directed this episode, so it kind of makes sense that he brings in a familiar face, so to speak. We also get some new recruits for Boba. His cartel is increased. He's got these sort of like cyberpunk kids who do little robberies and thieveries, and they enhance their body parts. And initially Boba was going to police these guys, but once he realized they were very useful, he decides to bring them into his fold. They kind of reminded me of Quadrophilia a little bit. Now we've got bikers and these guys being the mods, because if you've seen Quadrophilia, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I won't go into that too much, but yeah, that was pretty cool. They're sort of speeder moped things, these new recruits Boba's brought in. They're kind of a bit too shiny for my liking, but nevertheless, it's good that he's got more people in his familia. In this episode as well, we get a flashback scene too. This was kept short and sweet. It's just Boba Fett basically having to leave the Tuskens and deal with the Pikes, and then when he goes back to the Tusken village, his village is destroyed. So I guess we're going to get some revenge scenes in the following flashback montage in next week's episode. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's the bikers who have killed the Tuskens as well. So we'll see how that pans out. But back to the present day. When Boba wakes up from the Bacta tank, where he's having his flashback sequences, he gets the shit beaten out of him by Black Chrysanthemum, and it's really good that they went straight into Black Chrysanthemum in this episode. We got introduced to him last week, and this episode he was doing his shit, and my god, it must have been absolutely frightening for Boba to deal with, having been completely naked, so to speak, just wearing a pair of shorts, haven't got his armor on, hasn't got any of his tricks of the trade, and he's just trying to deal with Black Chrysanthemum with his bare hands. But luckily, because he's recruited some people, they ended up also fighting Black Chrysanthemum. Now, this doesn't make Black Chrysanthemum look weak at all, because with Boba and Fennec, the 4 new recruits, and the 2 Gamorrean guards as well, that's 8 people Black Chrysanthemum had to deal with. So when he finally got thrown into the Rancor pit, he doesn't look too weak, and it was just a really good scene. We get the Hutt twins coming into this episode as well, are basically apologizing for trying to assassinate Boba Fett, but they also feel like they're being played as well by the mayor, and because of that, they decide to give Boba a gift, and that is a Rancor as well, and that's where we meet Danny Trejo, and I was really happy to see Danny Trejo in this episode. I mean, wow, just fantastic stuff. I mean, he is the man, and Machete is part of the Star Wars universe. I'm really happy. Robert Rodriguez obviously playing his part too, because obviously these two guys have worked with each other in many films from back in the day. So as we progress in this episode, trying to find the mayor, it seems to be the next thing to do. He is not about, but his right-hand man is, and we get a little chase through the streets of Mos Espa in trying to get this guy, and then we find out that the mayor is working with the Pike Syndicate, and that kind of correlates with what happens in the flashbacks as well. I don't know what sort of connection we'll get there, but that's how the episode ends, when we find out that the Pikes and the mayor are working together, and we'll see where that goes. But it looks like there's going to be all-out war apparently, but now Boba's got some more people in his crew. Maybe he can afford to go to war. Now, these people are just kids and they're not proper gangsters, but we'll see how that pans out. But overall, this is an interesting episode. I say interesting because I neither liked or hated this episode. There were some moments that made me kind of happy. Obviously, Danny Trejo being part of the Star Wars universe makes me very fucking happy. I'll have to watch this episode again. Usually a second time I get a much more of an appreciation of watching this episode. But from what I've got from my mind right now, what I can remember, this episode is okay. And I look forward to the next one. Without a doubt, episode 4 cannot come soon enough. So roll on episode 4. Book of Boba Fett, looking a bit more interesting. This was a bit more gangsterish as well, to a degree. I'll say that about this episode. And a bit more tragic as well. I expected the Tusken Raider village that he was a part of to not have been killed off, but they have been. So Boba kind of is back on his own again. So that was a bit sad, but he did do the right thing by respecting the Tuskens, by burning them in the Tusken traditions and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see where this goes next week. But yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. And don't forget to watch our debate later on, also here on NerdTube. Take care. Bye-bye.